this article is basically saying that there is a large proportion of the British public that are using credit to supplement the running of their home. Right?
That doesn't sound
No, that
safe.
doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good. Kind of like we're almost going back to 2008 when we had the credit crunch.
Yeah.
The only thing is then, I think more people were partying and enjoying themselves. Whereas now, because of inflation...
There's a lot of hardship already.
There is hardship. And by the way, these people are working. These are people that have jobs, right? So mum and dad have a job, but either mum or dad has to take out their credit card to say, look, honey, we're going to need a credit card to pay for the phone bill this month, or we're going to need the credit card to pay for the gas bill this month.
That doesn't sound good at all.
No, this is a problem.
So Maurice, it's been a great week, huh?
It's been a good week.
Yeah.
It's been a very good week. It's been an interesting week. Lots going on, good and bad.
Yes, yes. We actually went through the news just a while ago, just before you came in the studios, and we saw things like house prices have risen by 7.2%.
Indeed.
Nissan looking to take on 400 people.
Yeah.
So like there were these bits of news, but obviously because we've been increasing our financial IQ, we're attentive to them. Before it would be like, it says 400,000.
Yeah.
But then now I'm seeing 400. That means there's gonna be growth. There's gonna be expansion. Let me look more into this.
Yeah.
So guys, if your financial IQ has made you more alert, have you been more attentive to things that are happening in our society, in the news, in the etc. Around us, let us know. All right. So as we're saying, so there's a lot that's been happening recently. It caught my attention with Nissan hiring 400 new staff. That means they're intending to grow. They're intending to expand. They've seen a niche. There's a need for electric cars that people are going to be investing in going forward. Yeah,
Indeed,
so there's all that kind of stuff happening.
Yeah. Also, we spoke briefly regarding last Monday, the FTSE, the FT 100 took a bit of a hit.
Yes.
And we had a quick conversation about that, and that was, we were talking about what are the reasons behind a particular indices. They're called indices, things like the NASDAQ, the FTSE.
What's a FTSE 100?
The FTSE 100 is the top 100 performing companies in Britain, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Financial Times 100, the 100 top performing companies, right? So these markets are called indices, right? So you've got the FTSE, you've got the NASDAQ, which is the tech. Yeah, the top performing tech companies.
Okay, so if I go into if I go into an app now, or I'm looking to get stock or whatever, I will see NASDAQ.
You will see, if you go into certain platforms, you will see NASDAQ.
And that means
NASDAQ is basically represents the tech, all of the top tech companies, mainly in the US, top tech companies performing in that particular indice, right?
Okay.
Then we also spoke about the S&P 500.
Yeah.
That is the top 500 performing companies. Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, McDonald's, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla.
Yes.
These are the top 500, the S&P Standard & Poor's 500.
Okay, so they've grouped them. So these top performing companies, they've grouped them under this name called S&P 500.
Yeah.
Right. So what does that mean for us then? So
for us, if we're looking at a particular stock that we're interested in, some of them will be in the S&P 500, some of them won't be. Right. So if one of the stocks you've chosen happen to be in the S&P 500, that means that is a pretty important, a pretty well capitalized stock. It's a company that's definitely going somewhere. The S&P 500 basically represents it's almost like being invited to an exclusive party, right?
Really?
Yeah.
I like being invited to parties. That means they considered me.
Right. So it's like being invited to, an exclusive party, and not everyone can get into the S&P 500. The company has to have certain attributes. I won't go into that now.
So when you say not everyone, you mean not people, but you mean organizations, companies, businesses.
companies. Yeah. So when I say that, I'm referring to companies. So there are companies popping up all the time. There's companies that are coming out with new ideas and growing rapidly, but not every company has all of the credentials and all of the facets to actually be invited to this S&P 500
this table.
So for instance, last year, I think around last year, September, October, Tesla was invited to that party because Tesla is doing amazing things, right? I know I bang on a lot about Tesla, but I just use it as an example.
Okay, so last year,
around September, October.
So Tesla was invited to the S&P 500.
Yeah, so Tesla is now in the S&P 500.
Okay,
right?
They wasn't before.
They weren't before.
So that means they're doing something good.
They're doing something good. They usually have what's called a large capitalization. That means the amount of capitalization that is in the company, the amount that they're holding, the amount of capital they're holding is usually in the billions, the multiple of billions. Then that's just one of the facets that would say, right, okay, this company is worthy of being in the S&P 500, amongst other things, right?
Okay, so let me understand. So right now, because you touched on this is really important, right? This is really important. Why? Because we're talking about increasing our financial IQ, right?
Yeah.
And so S&P 500, FTSE 100, there are these different names, and you've kind of explained what each one represents, right? Now, so the S&P 500 is this particular billionaire company club, right? And for someone who is listening right now and they're like, okay, I've just worked some overtime now. I've got funds. I don't want to just squander and spend it all so I can be back at square one. I want to look to see it multiply. I want to do something, make it work for me. How does that affect us? So this S&P 500 is a collection of these top performing companies.
500 top performing.
And because we're talking about stocks and shares, that means I can buy a part of those companies.
You can buy a part of those companies. You can either buy. He's getting there. Let's see. He's there already.
Yeah.
So you can either buy one of those companies, and it's like, for instance, McDonald's will be there, right? Microsoft will be in there. Amazon will be in there, or you can buy an ETF fund, right? An exchange traded fund.
Okay.
And we've touched on this before, but I'll just cover it again. So that
this is really important, guys. Check this one out. Check this out. If you want to know where to start, if supposing you're someone that you're looking to get involved in stocks and shares, so you understand that that's what the people who are made aware, that's what they do. That's what they do to create generational wealth. That's what they do to kind of make their way to financial freedom. They invest in companies, right? So you really want to take note of this S&P 500 and what this means for you. If you're looking to start out, this is, I think, the safest route that you can do. You can take and put into practice on, yeah?
Sure. So as I say, you can either buy one of these companies. You can buy into Amazon, or you can buy into Microsoft or Zoom or one of these companies, or you can buy an ETF fund. An ETF fund is just a collection of a fund that has a collection of top performing companies. And the attractive thing about ETF funds is that they are managed by algorithms, artificial intelligence, AI algorithms that just basically buys and sells and manages the best performing companies for you. So the advantage is that the fees are either very, very low or almost next to nothing, because there is no human involved. Therefore, you don't have to pay salaries, yada, yada. So they can pass that saving on to you, the customer, and you either have very low fees or in some cases almost even zero fees. And the great thing is about it is that the AI outperforms humans.
Wow.
So you have funds that are actually managed by human beings, and these funds tend to have a lot of
flawed losses,
losses, as you say,
some bad
a lot
judgments,
of fables. Exactly. Right. So the AI tends to outperform the actual human funds.
So I didn't know that. So because a lot of times when people thinking about stocks and investing and stuff like that, they think of the risk, right?
Correct.
They think, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to give my £10 and then have nothing, or etc. Which is perfectly fine. We want to do our due diligence in things, but this due diligence can prevent a person from acting, can prevent even a person from getting more information, right? For example, like Jeanette says here, I don't think they will invite me to join S&P with my £2.39. Yeah, because Tesco are closing their accounts.
Jeanette, yeah, don't put yourself down. You never know. You never know.
Yeah,
you never.
Yeah, and so what it is that the times when you had a broker, you had to call them up and they'll do all this stuff and there'll be fees attached. But now we've got AI that works to track the market, which outperforms human beings, which outperforms brokers. And because it's AI, that makes it more substantially better for us in terms of savings, in terms of entering into the market. Yeah, it makes it so much better, so much smoother for us, and we have control. And I assume that because it's doing its thing, right? It's something that you wouldn't do for a quick fix. You're doing a long term.
This is long term. Yeah. So as we mentioned yesterday as well, the markets, the FTSE took a bit of hit last Monday.
Yeah, July 19th. Guys, I've been looking at the app thing, and as I was noticing there was like a dip July 19th.
I'm impressed by you, actually. I'm quite impressed. The questions you had, and Maurice, what does this mean? The FTSE, what's going on here? The FTSE's dropped like 29%.
I'm increasing my financial IQ.
That's good. That's good.
So I was like, July. So what happened? I was like, what happened July 9th? And I started thinking about the news, like newspapers, like, what happened July 9th? And I'm like, I don't know what happened July 9th. Maurice, what happened July 9th?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
no, this is good. This is what we need. And like you said, these people may feel a little bit apprehensive as to going into these funds and everything and stuff like that. But I've done the research for you guys. So, feel free to go to my platform, have a look. I've looked into it. I mean, obviously, you guys do your own research. I always recommend that. But I've basically done the heavy lifting and looked at some of these, ETFs. And if you go to my platform, you'll see what I'm talking about. So why is this important? It's important because we spoke yesterday about banks and what's happening with the interest rates. Didn't we? Yeah. And I've got a little article here from This Is Money platform. Now, a British bank is charging savers negative interest rates. Sterling Bank's Euro account heads below zero, but will others follow suit? Right, so that's Sterling Bank. I think they're like an online platform.
Did they say negative interest rates?
Negative interest. So you are being charged in some accounts to actually for your money for them to actually hold.
They need to get a good look at the seriousness of your eyes. Captain Hugo, can you open that? Is that camera okay on our brother there? No, it's not. It's not the best situation today. Okay, no, because they need to get that look, that look of like this is really happening kind of look in your eyes.
Right.
Seriously.
Right.
So. I know Sterling Bank because when Monzo came out, eventually we had Sterling Bank, which is aimed for people who are involved in business, and they did promise interest, on what you have in there to to add to it. So you're telling me now things are swung in another direction? Yeah.
So we've spoken before about QE, quantitative easing, printing of money, and what happens when you have an abundance of something coming to existence, that thing, the value of that thing falls through the floor.
That's why if you was at a Michael Jackson concert some years ago and you caught his glove, that glove is worth a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
But if he had a thing where he was always throwing away gloves, people would be like, nah. Right. I got Michael Jackson glove too, and so was Frederick over down the road. But because there's only like one or two, it's like,
it's the rarity, isn't it?
It's rarity.
It's like the art market and the wine market, and vintage wine, and it's the rarity of that thing. But if that thing becomes ubiquitous, if it becomes abundant, then obviously it's going to start to lose its value. And the reason I'm mentioning this is that the banks have printed so much money that it's now become You know, the value of money is falling. You go into the shops and it's costing you more to just purchase the staple, you know, things that go into your basket, right?
Like I remember in the previous program, you was talking about the price of bacon has gone up.
Yeah, so it's at 15-year high, and it's not the price of bacon that's gone up per se. It's your sterling or your money in your pocket is actually going down against the actual product on the shelf. Wow. So it feels like it's going up, but it's that your currency in your pocket is actually falling on a continuous basis, and you're not feeling the effect straight away, but it's like the frog in hot water. Yeah, you turn the heat up slowly, and the frog doesn't realize it's boiling, and you just keep turning the heat up, and by the time the frog realizes it's too late, the frog has been boiled alive. So
this is true. You know, it just hit me because my financial IQ has been increased over this show. And when I went to Aldi and Lidl, I don't know if you go to Aldi and Lidl, guys, and you know coconut water. They have this lovely bottle of coconut water. I didn't used to trust it before, but Ronald said, no, it's okay, it's good. So I got into that bottle of coconut water. It was £1.39.
Right.
Then it went to about $1.49, and it's been like that for a while. Then recently it bumped up to $1.59.
Right. See,
it's happening.
It's
happening. So that was 10p less in my shopping, but 10p more in my shopping basket.
Yeah.
And I didn't even pay attention to all the other stuff. It's just I like coconut water, so that caught my attention.
Right.
You know, so
but over a period of time,
what
happens is that begins to accumulate, and then it's the other little items in your basket ticking up by 10%, 5%, 15%, whatever. It's ticking up, and you know, between now and probably say next year, you will definitely feel the effects of that. Absolutely, 100% you'll feel water. I was buying bottles of water. It used to be 45 pence for a bottle of water. Then it went up to 50. Now it's 60 pence.
Yeah.
Not everywhere, but where I was going, you know, it was 45 pence. Now it's 60 pence for a bottle of water.
Look out for this, guys. Look out for this. Right. Yeah. Look out if you see it, and let us know. You know, connecting. Send us a message on the breakfast on the breakfast show WhatsApp line. Let us know. Yeah, definitely. If you've been experiencing this where you are, especially if you're around the globe.
Yeah. So as I say, the some banks are actually charging you to hold their money. You know, they've printed so much of it that they're saying, look, you know, it's like one of these storage companies, right? If you've got loads of junk, what do? That you put all your junk there, right? And they're gonna say, right, okay, thank you for your junk, but we're gonna have to charge you. So I'm not saying your money is junk, but I'm just saying, you know,
it's a principle.
There's so much of it swilling around that they say, look, you want us to hold your money? We're going to have to charge you for that.
Oh, wow.
So it's quite, happening. It's quite interesting. So that just brings home, why did I mention all that? Because if we're at the stage now where banks are either giving you 0.1% on your money, or they're actually charging you
negative
your money,
interest,
you now need to think, okay, my money needs to be somewhere working for me, i.e. either you're managing your own portfolio or an ETF fund, right? So the ETF fund is there working for you. It's got your money in the S&P 500 or the FTSE or the NASDAQ or whatever, and it's ticking over and it's ensuring your money is going to work. So that is the importance of, you know, having just the knowledge that, you know, the what's happening around the world with all the money printing is affecting you on a personal basis.
All right. Now, Victoria says, I'm not in that side, but that sounds very scary. Yes, indeed, Victoria. But this is something that affects everyone all over the world. And Victoria, I believe, is in Namibia.
All right.
She's in Namibia. Now, so we're going to go for a timeout because we've got quite a bit of information there. But I just want to just say that this is really interesting because this is something so easy to do or to be involved with and accessible once we have the information or financial IQ, right? And so this makes me think, if I have a child, most times we tell the child to put their funds in a piggy bank, right? Yeah. Or the child just consumes it. But if we have the right information, that means then if I give my child X amount of money, I'll say, look, invest it in your ETF fund.
Correct.
Right? And they're starting from when they're a child.
Yes.
So this thing is something that brings great benefit over a period of time.
Yep.
And if they start as a child and you teach them this, if the secondary school, taught my child, look, ETF funds, make sure, tell your parents to open ETF funds for you, right? This type of education, because I know there are those who are doing it.
Yep.
There are those who are doing that. Those are, yes, make sure you open up. He's 3 years old, open the ETF fund. Or it's like, baby's just arrived, open the ETF fund.
Yeah.
They know.
Imagine someone opening up a fund like that in, say, 2003, 2004.
Yes.
When, their kid was like 1 or 2 or whatever. Imagine opening up that fund and having a look at that fund now, what that can do for that child is now, 18, getting ready to go to university.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of heat out of your day.
Absolutely. Look, 2014 was building the Temple of Solomon. If I had an ETF fund, I'd have been like, not a problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, because, and like you said, university there's just so much that could have been done, but just because we lack the education.
Yeah.
And that's why Maurice Innis is here. Okay, but anyway, what we're going to be doing now, we're going to go for a very quick timeout because we had a lot to chew on today. You did explain to us about the FTSE 100 and the S&P 500, what they represent. They represent a conglomerate, I believe that's the word, of high performing companies, especially
it's a collection. It's a collection of it's a stock. These are different stock markets.
That's it.
With a collection of companies.
Yeah.
Right, and there's a difference between the S&P 500, the FTSE. They all have different characteristics.
Yeah.
So they're all different markets or different indices. Right.
Yeah.
And that's basically it.
And that's it. And you gave a lot of emphasis to the S&P 500, right?
I did. Yes.
We touched on briefly on why, because we're actually feeling the effects. We just don't know about it yet. We spoke about the importance of being, mindful of what's happening around us,
Absolutely.
right? And we just briefly touched on, this knowledge that we have, the importance of kind of taking into action straight away, because there are others who are taking into action, practicing these things that we're learning. So it's something that if you want to grow something, don't sit on it, because knowledge is power. All right.
Absolutely.
Guys, we're gonna go for a very quick timeout. Make sure you wake everybody up. What we're gonna be looking at after this timeout?
Okay. We will be briefly touching on households, what's happening with households and credits.
That's a huge one.
Yeah, how people are actually managing their credit, and then we'll be looking at I've given you a little bit of what's going on in the marketplace. It's not great news, some of it. And then we'll be looking at what you can actually do, the tools you can use and the knowledge that you guys have gained over a period of time and what you can actually do to put yourself in a better position.
All right, guys. Yeah. So we're going to have that and much more coming up on The Breakfast Show this morning. Remember, the WhatsApp line is +44 75 79 79 6845. I'll type it in as we're going to play some great music from the one and only Captain Hugo. So stay strong, stay powerful, stay robust. Wonderful. This is your Breakfast Show, and we'll be right back in just... by the way, if you're in Namibia, you can take advantage of the S&P 500,
absolutely,
isn't it?
Absolutely. As long as you have a Wi-Fi connection, really, as I said before, we live in the worst of times and we live in the best of times.
Absolutely. And by the way, she just said, I know I was ending just now, she says, then I think the way now is to go crypto. All right, but we'll address that afterwards.
Yeah, we'll touch on that.
All right, guys, this is great. I love the interaction. We love the interaction.
Absolutely.
It's the morning time, guys. Let's fill our mind with good stuff. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Fantastic.
Enough of this is your breakfast show, guys, and we're really excited here as we have the one and only Maurice Innis joining us today as we're increasing our financial IQ. All right.
Absolutely.
And thank you for joining us. Just before the timeout, we had our breakfast show faithfuls dropping in some questions, some very good questions here. We had Victoria saying, then I think the way now is to go crypto. Wow. That's a great topic, can't wait. But yeah, the way to go now is crypto. And Janet says crypto might be a distraction.
Yeah.
You know, so what are your thoughts on that?
So just to clear things up a bit, crypto is definitely has huge potential, and I would definitely urge people to get their knowledge up on crypto. I always say,
like that. He said, get your knowledge up.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah. So if somebody comes and say, hello, my name is Ola. I want to get you involved in crypto. I just need your bank account and so code.
Correct.
No.
Correct. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No,
How would you know? So someone comes along to you, Joe Blogs comes along and says, I have this great crypto platform. You should invest.
This formula is scientific.
And you don't have to, there are no fees. It's completely zero fee. All you have to do is invite 2 people. And then those people invite another 2 people. And then those, you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Right. So, why did I say get your knowledge up? Because you need to know if someone is,
genuine or not.
Yeah, if they're kosher, then your knowledge will be able to deduce whether they're kosher or not. If you are completely, oblivious to how the crypto market works, how the stock market works, how the bond market works, then if someone is putting something in front of you, you will not be able to discern whether that is authentic or whether it's something dodgy. So I always say crypto, absolutely, but your first investment is knowledge. Knowledge of that market, knowledge of the crypto market, knowledge of the stock market, knowledge of the bond market. That's your first port of call.
And what we're seeing here is that since we started this series, this is what you said to us first. Start to understand how these things work, and that's what I've decided to do. I took that on board. And why? Because the knowledge is accessible to us. It's there. You've given us some great newsletters to subscribe to, which I subscribe to, and I take a good interest in them. So that's it. There really is no excuse. If we say understand the market, it's not a thing, I need to understand the market now. I am tired. Let me lie down on the floor and come back to it. No, it's not that. It's literally a thing. It's literally a thing of seeking alpha.
Yeah.
Yahoo Finance,
absolutely.
Motley Fool,
Bloomberg.com.
And instead of watching these sitcoms and EastEnders and all these things that add no value, increase your financial IQ.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
And you said something about mixing things at this stage, because if you're trying to get into something, it's good to focus on something first, and then.
So I think one of the callers actually said so now would be a good time to look at crypto. It will always be a good time to look at crypto, stock market, and different asset classes. But as I said, knowledge is power. Always get the knowledge first. But as you also said, focus is also very, very important. I know of someone who, bless her, she was 1 minute she was in Forex. That didn't really happen. And then she had some guys help her out with some crypto investment platform thing, and nothing came of that. Then she pivoted over to real estate, and it was just, it was very, very confusing for her, because she's not from that background. She doesn't really understand the markets per se, and she just kept jumping from one thing to another. And as someone said to me, if you chase 2 rabbits, they'll both get away, right? And this is what she was doing, and it was getting away from her. All of those things she was investing in or trying to was actually escaping from her, because she wasn't focused. If she just put something in her sights, put that red dot on it, right, and target that and focus on that, your chances of obtaining it is much higher. And
you said something during the timeout, why, and you said it on the show before, why you don't speak much about crypto, right? Because you're still getting to get better grips with it yourself.
I'm still building my knowledge on crypto. I mean, I understand blockchain, I understand Bitcoin, I understand Ethereum, I understand smart contracts, but I'm the type of person, I like to strip things down and put it back together. I really want to understand it, right? That's a geek in me coming out, so sorry about that.
It's okay. We're all from that caliber of tree. We all have it inside of us.
Exactly. So I really like to really understand something, so that when I speak about it, I can really break it down in a simple understandable way.
And so, and from what I'm seeing is that, once you understand how things work with the stocks, etc., it's easy to kind of transfer that information or those skills over to crypto.
Yes.
Because that's what I've noticed, that the principles are very similar.
That's a really, really good point. You see, your knowledge you're there.
I have increased my financial IQ.
You're there, right? Because I didn't even think of it like that per se. Like we were talking earlier, I didn't even think of it like that. But it's like a transferable skill. So there are some principles in a stock market that will be transferable to the crypto market, right? So there's something called buy on the dip, right? And a lot of people use that in a crypto. Oh, buy on the dip. Da, da, da. Well, guess what? That is also
the same
a principle in the stock market, and it's also the same principle in the forex market as well, right? So what does buy on the dip mean? It means that the stock went up, and then it had a little dip. And when most people are panicking, you'll say, oh, no. This is a buying opportunity.
And that dip means that the value of that asset has dropped. So that means before it used to be £2, now that it's dropped, that means it's £1. So before you could only get like just one for £2, but now you can get two for £1.
See.
So then when it increases again, your results are doubled.
Exactly. Exactly it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the principles are transferable. A lot of the principles in the stock market, some in the forex market, are transferable to the crypto market.
Okay.
So I always say, try and understand one asset class and then pivot over, but don't confuse yourself with, this week I'm learning forex, a couple of days later I'm learning
let's go crypto
stock.
We're foreign. What do you say, Jeff? What do you say, Jeff? Okay, go with stock market. Okay, I'm coming over here.
Yeah.
What do you say, Jim? What you gonna say? We'll go back crypto. This new coin, I'm there over there.
Exactly. It becomes it's very confusing. And if you're new to it as well, like if the concepts are all new to you, like because I'm used to the stock market and I've been messing around the stock market for many years, it will be easier for me to pivot to crypto, right? Or to pivot to another asset class. Whereas if all of these concepts are new, like your friend in Namibia said, if all of these concepts are very new to you, it can be quite overwhelming, which is why my platform, I try to just break things down, in small chunks so that you can understand it and then take your knowledge further.
Okay, My Money IQ, right?
Yes, My Money IQ, Instagram, YouTube, and now TikTok for the kids, because I know a lot of kids are on TikTok, and it's great to get their young minds to start thinking about these things.
Absolutely.
So I've developed a TikTok.
I'm going to subscribe my daughter. TikTok is not only about this and this and this and this and
all the dancing.
No, she needs to increase her IQ. So, all right. Now we have Ingrassi saying, Ingrassi Croydon is shouting, "Good morning, breakfast show." Good morning, Miss Ingrassi. And Noshi Khan from Luton says, "Connected." Good morning, Noshi. All right.
Fantastic.
Now, you did touch on a few things that we would cover today. All right. We don't, time has kind of eluded us because Victoria asked a very useful and powerful question that you've answered. I hope that's okay for you, Victoria. But if we can just touch on the things that we wanted to cover today.
Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, okay. So we were talking about spreading your risk, right? So you're in the stock market and you're investing, and you only like, I don't know, say the banking sector, and you've only bought stocks in a banking sector.
Sorry, what was that thing you said about the credit card living?
Oh, sure, sure.
Because
So there's that as well.
I think that caught quite a few people's attention.
Okay, yeah, that's we can definitely touch on that. So I found an article a few years back. I'm going to try and grab this article again if I can. But this article basically was saying that there is a large portion of the UK public who are using credit to run their household.
I think you said about 40%.
Something like 40%. I can't remember the exact figure. I don't want to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to find this article, right? I think it was in City AM, but it was a few years ago. This is pre-COVID, sort of like financial crisis sort of thing.
Wow.
And this article is basically saying that there is a large proportion of the British public that are using credit to supplement the running of their home. Right?
That doesn't sound
doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good. Kind of like we're almost going back to 2008 when we had the credit crunch.
Yeah.
The only thing is then I think more people were partying and enjoying themselves, whereas now, because of inflation, because
There's a lot of hardship already.
There is hardship, and by the way, these people are working. These are people that have jobs, right? So mum and dad have a job, but either mum or dad has to take out their credit card to say, look, honey, we're going to need a credit card to pay for the phone bill this month, or we're going to need the credit card to pay for the gas bill this month.
That doesn't sound good at all.
No, this is a problem. This is a problem. This is pre-COVID. Just remember that. This is before people were losing their jobs, before, you know, the economy had been impacted. So this was a slow burn. You know, this has been going on since 2008. It's been a slow burn effect. So some people are now supplementing the running of their home with either a credit card or a loan or a payday loan. You know, something along that line. And that is telling me that for some people, the salary is not enough.
Yeah.
They need, I mean, absolute worst case scenario, they're using credit. Best case scenario, you either have a part-time job or you have a residual income, something you've invested in that is paying funds into your account that can sustain you.
Yeah.
As things get tougher and tougher and tougher.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not the case because people don't have the financial knowledge, so they do the easiest next best thing. What's that? Go and get a credit card.
You know, I remember when after I got married, I remember that, you know, we were very slow to combine our bank accounts together.
Right.
As this is ages ago, and I remember that even though we had funds coming in, we had the numbers to pay for everything. It was so easy for money to just kind of like just disappear, literally because of our managing of money. And I remember that. I remember once I went for a payday loan. I saw it in bricks, and I was like, "Let me get it." And I thought it was a good idea. But when I started to see the interest and everything like that, I'm like, "Okay, pay that off quick. I'm done.
Yeah.
We can't go there."
Yeah.
And that was a powerful lesson for me at that time.
Yeah.
To make me understand that's something that's not doable because you lose out in the long term.
Yeah.
You know, so it could be one of two things, that they're doing the right thing, and because of inflation, all these other things are more costing more, so they have to supplement it.
Correct.
And because of maybe the nature of their work, they haven't had a pay increase to match with inflation, like you mentioned before.
Your salary is not your. I guarantee you. I reckon if I ask most of the people dialed into this platform right now, I know they have not had a pay increase to match inflation, and it hasn't happened over the past 5-10 years. Okay. I know that without asking people.
My wife was a police officer, all right, and I remember when they stopped paying them. They were supposed to. What part of the package that made it be like exciting, that you'll always get this pay rise every year, and then that stopped, and it just didn't come back again, right? So I get it. So there's that. There's that. But then there's the other thing where, like, was my situation, where it's bad habits, bad money management, right? Things are not organized, things are not in sync, so there's like a bag with holes where it's pouring out, and so you think you're having to supplement, but it takes a bit of wisdom to get everything aligned to kind of work it.
Correct.
Right? But in both stages, what you're saying is this is actually happening to 40%. From what our conversation we had before, of the population before COVID.
Yeah. It was. I can't remember the exact percentage. Don't quote me on that. But it was a significant number, and it was enough to catch my attention, certainly. And I am going to try and find that article again, because it was such a striking article that people are actually using credit just for everyday stuff. It should be a case of, okay, we're going to use credit to go to the Bahamas. We're going to use our credit card to treat ourselves. We're using a credit card to buy a pint of milk. And like, really, guys? Wow. Seriously? Is that where we're at right now? Obviously, that's not everyone, but the fact that that's happening in society, it's a cause for concern.
I see two things there: education and standards, right? Yeah. Because for me, it's unthinkable. Only in case there's like an emergency, something, do you get what I mean? But it's unthinkable for it to be a common practice to use a credit card or something like that to pay for everyday things. I just can't process it. It just doesn't make sense in my mind. It doesn't. I just can't think.
But the thing is, times are. They are challenging. We are living in challenging times, and if the job market is becoming more competitive, if the stock market, or the job market rather, is becoming more competitive and inflation is rising, then people are under the cosh to to do what they got to do. Do you know what I mean?
true.
So this is I understand it. It's not. I don't think that I'm attacking or looking down on people. I totally get this. I totally get it. And like you say, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
If you were not educated about this stuff at school or at a networking event or read a book on this, you're not going to know, right? So you are going to pivot to your credit card to solve that problem. Not knowing, hey, guess what? Had you invested over here and had you let that grow for a little while, that's a lovely cushion,
a little barrier,
to protect you against the wiles of what's going on, right? Do you know what I mean? But there are always solutions. And that's why I'm going to quickly just mention, because I know we're pushing for time, but when you're investing in the stock market, as you invest in different sectors, say you're interested in, say, I don't know, retail, and you want to invest in Next, or what's the other shop, that high, the one that everyone goes to.
Well, it's not Gap anymore. They've closed all their
Yeah, the Gap's gone. The Gap's gone. But, if you're interested in, say, retail, so the good or the best way to look at things is not have your money in one sector, say in retail, or all in stock, or all in, in tech, or all in energy companies. You spread it across different sectors, because one of those sectors, through whatever event, can get hit quite badly.
Gotcha.
Right.
Like Coca-Cola, when there was that meeting with Ronaldo, and he said, he took the Coke, he was like, agua.
Right.
The stock, the value of Coca-Cola dipped by 3 billion.
Yeah, right.
3 billion.
Correct.
Oh my god! So if I had stocks in Coke, it's like, oh, but Coke gonna come back. Coke gonna come back. You know what I'm saying? But like, having diversification, even though Coke might have dipped, something else would have been okay.
Correct. Because there could be a shockwave tomorrow that can send the banking sector into a spiral. And if you've got lots of investments or stocks in, say you bought, I don't know, say Lloyd's, or you've bought HSBC, you say you've got about 5 different stocks in investment banking, that whole sector, for whatever reason, could take a hit. And then because you've only invested over there, then your money is at risk. But if you're investing in different sectors, energy sector, I don't know, a retail sector, banking sector, then you're spreading your risk.
Okay.
Yeah, you're hedging your bets, you're spreading your risk, and it will be, it would
Safer.
take a lot for all of those things to drop. It can happen, don't get me wrong. You can have a scenario where the whole stock market and all sectors all fall if there's a major economic crisis. You can have that. But as a general rule, you just want to spread your risk in different sectors: retail, banking, energy, tech, yada yada yada.
Okay.
Right?
Is that why things like the S&P 500 are good? Because it's spreading.
Because it does it for you. It spreads it across hundreds, tens of hundreds of different sectors, and it's run by this AI algorithm, and it's very, very efficient. But I why do I tell you to have a look at the stock market? Because you're raising your knowledge, right? You're not just relying on this AI platform to do it for you. You know why that's going up and why that's going down.
It's good to know. There's certain things it's good to know. It's
and
useful.
then you can transfer that knowledge to the crypto sector, and then when you start dealing with crypto, it will be different, but there will be similarities. You'll be like, oh right, okay, I get this.
That.
Yeah, I know the concept behind that.
Well, what we've done, I've literally posted links to your Instagram, YouTube, and your TikTok.
Yep.
Onto our live chat. So those of you who want to follow and continue with Maurice, feel free to copy those links. All right. So you can literally get more information, because he's got like Miss Mildred in Croydon. She said to me, I went to his Instagram. It was lovely. There were some things I was listening on the show and I was like, what is that? What is that? And when I went to his Instagram, he just explained it so nicely for me. And I was like, oh, this is lovely. I'm understanding now. I'm having more confidence. That's what she was saying to me. And also we have the free trade. So we've got free trade as well. So that's the app. I actually saw this on the Tube.
Did you? Yeah. Yeah, they're advertising quite hard on the Tube. Yeah.
So so you could just literally free.
So if you go to any of those platforms that you just mentioned, there's a link there. Just click on the link, sign up. Away you go. You can get yourself started. For very, very little. You can either invest in an ETF, or you can play around with some stocks and
Yeah, because Jeanette was saying she, they wouldn't accept her £2.39, but I think she can do something for £2.39, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, you just dip your toe in the water and see how it feels. But as I say, always arm yourself with some knowledge.
That's right.
It gives you the confidence to move forward, and you're operating from a place of facts, not feelings.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So there you go. There you have it. That was our My Money IQ today, increasing our financial IQ this morning. Thank you so much for all that, for that information, Maurice.
You're welcome.
Seriously, it's absolutely delicious, and I feel definitely more armed and more confident. And those of you who have been following the show and you've been following this series, and maybe you say, what were they speaking about before in the previous series? We do have the programs on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/C/robustlife TV, where you can see all the interviews like this one and all our other previous interviews of the show with links to our guests that come on, so you can follow up on what they're doing, okay, and get more support, advice and encouragement, or get in contact with them. And this is how we're rolling. All right now the show is live, but if you're watching it on YouTube right now and you're catching the replay, don't forget to like and subscribe the channel so you don't miss any of the other replays, and catch us live on the show Monday to Thursday from 6:30 a.m. all the way to 8 a.m. All right, guys. So look, this has been your breakfast show today. I hope you're all good, you're powerful, you're robust. Let's be the change that we want to see in this world, and let's just go for it. Tomorrow we're going to have Ronald and Patrina joining us, and we're going to be going into the extensive wellness tip with Ronald once again. I'm telling you, that celery and almond thing has been a big hit. Cherries, 20 cherries a day becomes medicinal in your body.
Wow.
To help with things like arthritis and gout.
Really?
And we're also going to continue the Bulletproof Dating book, which has been absolutely crazy. We're looking at 27 myths that block you from having a happy love life. Oh, it's been so intense and beautiful, Maurice. Seriously, I've been enjoying it. So we're going to continue tomorrow from 6:30. So guys, don't miss it. Stay powerful. We've got another program on the Liberty Radio platform at, I believe it's 10. Is it 10 o'clock? It's going to be the next program. What program is it again? Reconnect at 10 o'clock. So still enjoy the music, whatever you got to do. Keep bopping your head while you're on the tube, and just remember us tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. All right, take care, Maurice.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Pat and Hugo, and thank you, dear listener.
Wonderful.
Until then, ciao for now.
Ciao.
Connect online Monday to Friday with special guests for inspiration, motivation to start your morning right. Music, banter, fun and laughter. Connect when you start your mornings with The Breakfast Show. Only on libertyradio.co.uk. That's right, The Breakfast Show is back. libertyradio.co.uk from 6:30 a.m.